conversational hypnosis? Who here is familiar with conversational hypnosis? Excellent, okay. Just to point out how we're going to do things differently, this is not a conversation hypnosis course with scripts. This sort of defeats the purpose of conversational hypnosis. And we're going to be looking at one aspect only of what can be looked at as an entire conversational hypnosis routine. Okay? So today won't be based on what do I do for therapy, what do I do for smokers, what do I do for weight loss, anxiety, snake phobias, I want to punch my cat phobias, whatever the case may be that people have. What we will be looking at is one element, which is called the hypnotic interview. Okay? Is anyone familiar with the term, we sort of coined this term and sort of created this program to suit the style? Is anyone familiar with the hypnotic interview process? You should, for those who've been here long enough with us, would have heard me talk about it. Essentially what we're going to cover today is the very first part of any hypnotic interaction. Okay? Who here has never seen a client before? Come on in. Anyone not seen a client before? Excellent. Come on in, have a seat. Excellent. All right, so we will be looking at just this first part of the interaction and show you how you can include this into your style of hypnosis and do something with it, okay? So I do want to point out this is not a certification. You will not be receiving you're a certified hypnotherapist today, but it's a great addition or your great introduction into how this process works. So when I say hypnosis, everyone familiar with what I mean by hypnosis or hypnotherapy? Is anyone not familiar with that as a term? Okay. The term itself can be argued back and forward to be many things. What I want us to do today is look at how can you become hypnotic in a conversational way. This is the premise for conversational hypnosis. Okay. So what I want to do with you guys today is introduce you to, yes, the hypnotic interview, but show you how you can start to be more natural and smooth with your approach to hypnosis. Okay? And the premise itself we're going to work with is just this one. The most common question we get as a trainer, and even when I was a therapist, when I have other people ask, how do you do this compared to this in your strategies or your interactions, is how do I begin? Who finds, for those therapists in the room, finds that's the hardest place? You have your client sitting in front of you and you think, I'm going to say this, I'm going to do this, and all of a sudden you get brain freeze and you don't know what to do. Who's had that before? Okay. Who's also had, you ask your client something like, what do you want to work on or what are you here for today? And then half an hour later they stop talking. Who's had that before? Okay? Very common itself. Okay? And it's not a bad thing. Sometimes our clients just need to vent, but we need to get something done. Okay? And this is where the hypnotic interview really excels. So basically what the hypnotic interview is how do we decipher between what is conscious information that is irrelevant to our use of hypnosis and unconscious information. Okay? Does everyone know what I mean by the conscious mind? Yep, hope so. Okay. When I say unconscious, it could be subconscious. I've heard superconscious. I've heard talking to angels or talking to whatever you want to call it. Okay. The way we're going to work with the unconscious mind, when I do say it's any of those things as well, it's the part of a person that's outside of awareness, and it's the part that we need to, you could say, hijack and also stimulate to get those aha moments or to get some sort of therapeutic outcome. Does that make sense? Okay. So the place for us to start will be like this. It's to answer that premise. Where do we begin? Okay? You're going to find that if you've never seen a client before, you go to a lot of trainings, you have all these great tools inside your head. And you might sit there for maybe 15 minutes before your session and think, I'm going to say this. I hope they say that so then I can say this. And then I hope they say that because I've got this for them. If they say that, I'm really going to get them with this technique. Who's ever done that before? I can admit I did. And then I got really, really annoyed with myself and my clients because the response I needed them to tell me didn't happen. And I thought, what do I do? Okay. I went through the whole thing of working with the script once. I read a couple of sentences on the script. Client didn't follow along. What do I do now? Do I tell them to go away so I can write a new one, or do I have to jump on the internet and download one quickly? I thought, let's do something different. Okay. So this is where we are today. What I want to do is spend our time looking at how do we start to influence people without the idea of scripts, but without the idea of having to prepare your sessions, and essentially how do we find out what is conscious information and what is unconscious information. Okay? And there's only 3 things we're going to look for our duration for today. Who's heard of unconscious moments before? You're probably sick of me saying it, right? This is what today is going to be about. I'm going to show you how to utilise them, how to spot them when they come up, and how do we go for emotional leverage and leverage itself. Okay? And this will be the format we're going to play with, and just basically the ground that we're going to expand on. Okay? So does anyone understand the difference between what is conscious information and what is unconscious information? Would anyone like to fill the rest of the group in? What is conscious information? What do we think? Let's say a client's talking to us, we've said, why are you here today? And they say, well, I want to quit smoking, or I want to lose weight, or I want to get over my anxiety, I want to jump from the plane and not be scared, whatever the case may be. We begin to talk to them about it. They might expand on those ideas, maybe give us a little bit more information, which is healthy. How do we know what to listen to? And how do we know what to discard? Yes?
Conscious is something where it's a thought process, so you can see the people thinking. When you start to hit emotion words, that's what you need to start to feeling words.
Excellent. Everyone agree with that? Okay. So your client will start to talk to you. Okay, and every now and then there'll be some emotional words chucked in. Excellent. So it's a good start. How else can we tell the difference? There's many ways to do this. Yes?
Body language.
Body language in what way?
Facial expressions. Whether they're uptight, relaxed.
Yep, excellent. So we could agree that's more outside of their awareness, okay? You probably find if your clients are getting uptight or they're starting to take on a anything but a relaxed position, they're not doing it on purpose, so it's more unconscious. Maybe it's a result from what they've just heard or what they're thinking, okay? What else should we be looking for or listening for?
Emotion in their voice.
Yep, and what do you mean by that?
They may have to take a pause while they think about what they're going to say next, or experience the feeling, so they stop talking while they're doing that.
Excellent. Has anyone talked to somebody before and they got really excited about what they were talking about? Maybe they've just been on a holiday or saw a great movie or ate at a great restaurant. Has anyone had that experience before? Okay. What happens to the way this person expresses themselves when they start to get excited about what they're talking about? How do they begin to change?
Their breath, their breathing.
Breathing starts to change, yep. What else do we see?
Faster or slow.
Faster or slower, yep. What else?
More relaxed.
More relaxed could be, absolutely, yep. What else?
They become more animated.
Become more animated. Have you ever found that when you're talking to these people, you start to get a little bit animated yourself? You start to get excited for them, even though it's their story and it's their journey, they've been on holidays while you've been stuck at work. Why do we get excited about that? Any ideas?
They draw us into their story.
They draw us into their story. And this comes back to the initial part, is when our client is expressing themselves a lot and venting this information, a lot of the times we can get sucked into that. As soon as we get sucked into that, we lose track of what do I need to listen to and what do I need to discard because it's rubbish. Okay? Who here in this room has a problem or a challenge or something in life that I don't like? Okay, half the room are liars. If you have a perfect life, please tell me how you do that, because I'd love to know. Why do your problems or your challenges, your issues, your addictions, whatever you want to call them, why do they exist and why do they continue to exist? Because I would agree, you probably all agree, at some stage you've tried to get over them, right? Why are they still there?
Yes. Dealt with them.
Haven't dealt with them? Yes.
Yeah, I haven't found the right tools.
Haven't found the right tools? Yep.
Could be habitual.
Yep, could be an habitual thing. Yep. Any other ideas?
It's easier not to do them.
Easier not to do them, just forget about it. Yep.
There's a secondary gain to it.
Could be a secondary gain. Yep. Agree. Has to be a benefit. Absolutely. And it's this benefit that, for lack of better words, screws us up. But in most cases, the benefit happens at an unconscious level, so you don't even know what you're getting out of it. You think you do, like the junk food tastes good, or it's really nice. Now that cake after dinner tastes really nice. A cigarette every now and then starts to relax me. Okay? Who would agree there's more ways to relax than having a cigarette? Is there any smokers in the room? This is not a point of view. Okay? Yes. Like this. We'd all agree that even though the majority of us don't smoke, we can find other ways to relax. So why can't I have a good friend smoker over here? Okay? You've got other ways you could relax as well, right? If smoking relaxes you. Okay? Now what this is called, there has to be an unconscious payoff. There's a reason why your unconscious mind keeps this existing in the first place, because it needs to get something from it. And when you start to rationalise and think, well, this is the reason why I smoke, I think I do this because of this, I think I do that because of this, this is where you put yourself in the mud. Okay? So this is what we need to explore. How do we, and just by doing these exercises today and taking you through the information, this should start to highlight the way that you start to think about your problems and hopefully give you a new way to think about them in general as well. So it's not just working with somebody today and helping them, it's a new understanding for yourself. Okay? So the three things we do need to look for are leverage, emotion, I'll have all these written up, leverage, emotion, and unconscious moments. Okay. So there's three things or three criteria for the hypnotic interview. With the hypnotic interview, the only reason we're doing it is to find out more hypnotherapy terms. Okay, it's more known as the root cause. Who's familiar with that term? Okay, the root cause. Okay, I don't even like the term root cause because if you're going for a root cause, I can guarantee it, you will never find out exactly what it is. You can get close, but you'll never find out what it is. Okay, why? Because the unconscious mind will start to filter new events, it will start to attach to new emotions, and that root cause becomes muddy as well. Okay? But we can point the direction towards it because then we have an outcome out of the door rather than just staying put. Does that make sense? Okay? So three things we need for the hypnotic interview. We need to jump straight into an exercise. Okay, we need leverage, emotion, and unconscious moments. What I would like you guys to do, and just obviously watch the cameras and the mics around everywhere, and just watch your stuff on the floor, so don't move that stuff when we move around. I want to get into groups of, let's say, 4 or 5. I don't care if you don't know the people, or if you know the people, I don't mind. And we're going to start to have a group discussion, so it's not just me teaching you and you listening, going, well, I'll just listen to it because it's up the front, when you guys drink around and start thinking about the stuff as well. So get into groups of 5.
The extent of the problem.
The extent of the problem, absolutely.
Is it really their problem?
Is it really their problem? Okay, we come back to investigating the problem to find out what the hell is going on in their head. If I jump straight into my anxiety routine, I know it's going to fail. And by the end of the day, you're going to see that too. So when we're investigating, we just need to ask our clients certain questions to expand on the story. Okay? And the easiest way to do this is when they give you a bit of information, you need to think, do I know any more about how to help this client than the question previously? So to give you an example, I've got anxiety, Scott, I need to overcome it. Okay, well, how does the anxiety affect your life? Well, it affects my job because I need to see clients on a day-to-day basis and I don't like talking in front of people because I hate sales. What have we just found out?
Hate sales.
There's something else occurring from one question. Does that make sense? So what do you think is going to happen if you spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes on the investigation? You're going to find out a lot of information. And then we need to work out what's good information and what's bad information. Does that make sense? Okay? So what I'd like to do in our groups is you're just going to play with how questions, why, when, what, whatever. Okay? There's a familiar idea going around that says never ask a client a why question. I don't know why. Did you say that? I'd rather you just ask the question, and if it gives you a good response, use it. If it doesn't, you've got another one to play with. I don't like the idea of saying you should never ask a question a why, a client a why question. The only idea, there's only one thing you're looking for here, just for now, is I want you to get as much information from the person sitting next to you. So in your group, you'll pair up in either 2s or 3s. Okay? And I just want you to ask any of these questions, maybe a dozen times, and just find out where does their problem start, like i.e. I've got anxiety, compared to I hate my mother-in-law, she stole my wood cutlery. I want to see how wide range this problem exists inside their minds. Then when we understand the format, I'm going to show you what to look for, so you can decipher between what's good information and what's bad. Does that make sense? Okay? So please pick a problem that's not emotionally charged. like you're going to sue the person sitting next to you if they don't overcome it. It's just something you think, you know what, I don't like this in my life, I'd like to have this. And just use this as an exploration inside your own mind as well. But this obviously stays private between you guys, and I do get a demo subject, so we'll need people up the front with me today. Obviously, we'll have it live together. Does anyone have any questions about what we're going to do? For those first timers, put your hand up with this. Excellent. This won't be easy. Okay, I'll give you that right now. All you're going to do is, if I was the first time, if I had Joe Bloggs sitting next to me, I'd say, okay, Joe, what's something in your life you don't want to work, you want to work on? Well, I don't like the taste of coffee, but I want to be able to drink it. Okay? I go, great. My coffee routine, I've got a routine for that. I'm going to ask Joe, well, why do you want to start drinking coffee? Well, I like to be more social, and everyone at work gets a half an hour coffee break while I've got to work. Okay? So how will drinking coffee help you be social? Well, I think I'll get out of the office more, be more social, I'll be able to meet people. You can see where this conversation's going. That's all I want you to do, is explore the problem. Don't look for anything specifically, don't do anything with it. Just see how much or to the extent the problem exists inside their minds. Okay? What I suggest you do for newbies, don't work with another newbie. Okay. Who found that fairly easy? Just asking for information. Now let me ask you this, for hypnotists in the room, wasn't that an easier way to do things? Rather than trying to do something with the information, and we'll come to that for people new to this. Okay? For hypnotists in the room, have you found yourself, and we presented this idea from day one, you go into your hypnotic interview, or the way you say your post-conversational hypnosis, you ask these questions, and then you change tracks and think, oh, I want to solve this, I want to help you. And now that I've said don't do anything with the information, see how much more casual it is. And those questions you need to ask are there. But when you're thinking, what is the best question? And you've all at some stage asked me, with an email about this morning. What is the best question I need to ask for a smoker? How the heck would I know? I know how to start, and by the end of the day, you'll know what to look for. What I'm more curious about is how can we make any question you ask have an impact? Wouldn't that be easier? And it's to get past that idea that there are the 10 magic questions. Take these 15 magic questions. I've got a PDF sent to me when I have it in my email, work email. These are the 15 top questions you should ask any client. Wow. If only it was that easy. Okay? So, all we've done right now is just gone from where is my client starting to what do they think their problem is. And the reason this is important because this is the equation that we all go through when we have a problem and we believe the problem exists in the first place. Okay? Because where are your problems when you're not thinking about them? Where do they go?
In the socks.
Yeah, it goes somewhere else. Or if you've got enough friends, you give it to them and they can sort it out for you. Okay? So, this is the equation, and it's just a metaphor to play with that we all go through. Hopefully you all can agree with this at some level. I have a problem in my life. It feels like this. I've tried to fix this, but the this I'm fixing, no matter how much attention I put on trying to fix it, never seems to go away, but I continually feel the symptom of the problem. Break that down even more, the clients will say, I have X in my life, it feels like Y, I want to fix X. What's the problem with that equation? Okay. The problem with this equation, I think I have X in my life, or I think this is bad in my life. I feel the symptom of the problem. We need to fix the problem and the rest will sort itself out. What we're doing with this interview is finding out what is the symptom, what is the underlying issue that's causing this thinking in the first place. If there was an Olympic Games on at the moment, which there is, and there was an event for the best thinkers in the world, everyone would get a gold medal. We are great at thinking about stuff that doesn't need to be thought about. Would we all agree? We do it non-stop. Now the problem with this is, when you start believing the thoughts that you're having, that becomes a problem. Problems hold hands with other problems. And I always say misery finds company. Who's got those people in their social group always have an issue with something, always have a problem? Who is that person? Point them out. Who has a friend like that or someone they know? And it's so draining just to be around them because it's all they talk about. But they can't quite understand that the more they're focused on their problems, what do they get more of? Problems. They find other reasons about why this problem is a problem that become a part of the problem. And for what was I stubbed my toe on the bed this morning is now I'm going to lose my house because I can't pay my mortgage. Whoa, where'd that come from? Who found the investigation, your client's issue or challenge started off somewhere and started to steer in a different direction and maybe started to transform into something else? Who found that? Is anyone happy to share? Obviously ask the person you're talking to about where it started and where it went to. Is anyone happy to share that? Yep.
Well, we started with procrastination.
So started with procrastination. Who's got procrastination in their life? Everyone here is a total liar. Everyone has procrastination. Okay? Yes, so started with you're happy to talk about this?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we moved on from procrastination to actually not being able to, or being able, or thinking about putting them in little, manageable ideas.
Yep.
And then we found out that it wasn't that, it was a dread of that.
So what have we found out?
Okay.
1 or 2 minutes so far. Started off as this is procrastination, and our client said, I'm trying to do these things to overcome them. That's conscious steps. I'm trying to put these things into place. If I want to go to the gym in the morning, I apply the clothes and the pattern and set my alarm for 5 a.m. What happens on Monday morning at 5 a.m. when that alarm goes off?
Right.
Screw this. And your Lorna Jane clothes hang in the closet. Because you're trying to put steps towards something that is not the issue. You're trying to fix if a client came into a doctor and you said, I've got a bad knee, and they repaired your elbow instead. They've done the operation, they've done something, but there's something they did was on the wrong thing. Does that make sense? So it went from procrastination to a dread of something. Okay? Do you know what the dread is? Excellent. So now we can start to find out, and that's where we're headed with this. What is he actually dreading? But we still don't have enough information. Do you see how this is starting to highlight some classical issues that we're all going to run into? And for the people that are new in the room, I don't expect you to get this yet. We'll make it more clear. Okay?